Vengo de donde el sol caliente la tierra, y agido dendo el corazón let masino tero. Vengo de donde el son pasa las horas, enamorando a la rumba canta andole aquel bolero. Traigo mi religión y mi esperanza, mezclada con mi tambor y mi melodía. Tan solo quiero que sepas lo que siente, cuando se ilgene tu alma de toda mi cubanía.
These are lines from the famous Cuban song Me Deje en Cuba, spoken in absolutely pathetic Spanish accent. Bad accent is an art that I have mastered, but this song is beautiful, for it describes Cuba in all its sunny glory. Cuba has everything that can turn it into a successful country. What destroyed it was politics, both internal and external. The Castros turned it into a family fiefdom, and the United States turned it into a pariah while pursuing business interests simultaneously. The shadow of the Castros still looms large over Cuba, but Cuba is showing signs of change. Cuba is opening up, the world is embracing Cuba, and America, especially the old Democrats, are enraged. Hi and welcome. This is TFI Global, the foreign affairs and geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group, and I'm your host Atul Mishra. In this video, I will tell you about the changing Cuba and the unchanging Democrats who don't like the changing Cuba. Let's begin. A new Cuba is on the rise. With the Castros out of power, the Central American nation is liberalizing many sectors of its economy, and the entire world is ready to embrace it. Recently, 184 out of 193 countries that make up the United Nations voted to end the blockade imposed on the island nation for almost 60 years. The only two countries that voted in favor of the blockade are Israel and the US. So the world is elated by Cuba's rise, but Biden and the old Democrats are enraged. Let us tell you why. Long story cut short, Biden and other anachronistic Democrats want to keep Cuba hostage. The Biden administration wants to continue the same old US policy and retain sanctions and embargoes that literally made Cuba a banana state, which would remain dependent on the US and largely cut off from the rest of the world. Within Cuba, things are changing fast. In April this year, Cuba got a new leader. For a change, the recently appointed Cuban president is not a Castro. Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, the newly appointed president of Cuba, has liberalized several sectors of the Cuban economy. In fact, the Central American country has approved a reform that includes long-sought legal status for private businesses that began operating decades ago under the title of self-employed. According to Cuban state media, the Council of Ministers agreed to the measures of its latest closed-door session. The reform would include legal status for Cuba's thousands of businesses spread across at least 2,000 sectors. Here's what is happening. The Biden admin has been stuck on the same old policy of handling Cuba. Meanwhile, Cuba has liberalized various sectors of its economy. Castros are gone. Cuba has a new leader. So even if it is a communist state, things are changing. It has created a market-friendly system like China, which is hardly communist. Miguel Diaz-Canel said, with this decision, we are approving how to organize the actors in our economy, which goes much further than the simple recognition of some of them. Cuba is therefore taking its first step towards a free market economy. This means that even if Cuba is originally a communist state, its economy is going to embrace free market policies, and the Central American nation would hardly remain a communist economy system. Cuba is promising a new post-Castro era. With a new leadership and economic reform, Cubans will no longer have to tackle destitution and suffering. The rest of the world too is eager to tap into Cuba's economic potential. But for the Biden administration, things are different. For decades, several US presidents have pursued the same old policy of imposing embargoes on Cuba. Within the US establishment, there is a tendency to isolate the Central American nation in a way that ensures American exclusivity in Cuba. Let's go back in history to understand why the US still insists on embargoes against Cuba. Before Fidel Castro came to power in Cuba in 1959, the Cuban economy was largely controlled by American businesses. Even the utilities and railroads in the Central American nation were controlled by American corporations. Being the hardline communist that Fidel Castro was, he nationalized everything in Cuba. The US sanctions against Cuba was more of a retaliation against Castro's move to nationalize businesses that were once controlled by the US. Ultimately, the US wanted to blockade Cuba and isolate it from the outer world. It can also be argued that exceptions were made in US travel bans across Cuba, so that American citizens could visit the island nation. Ultimately, Washington wanted to create a system in which the US was the only country that Cuba could interact with. US-Cuba trade was limited, but since the US was the only country that still had some degree of interaction with Cuba, it was able to milk the Central American nation. Then there are domestic issues also. No president wants to mend ties with Cuba because Cuban Americans who live in the US state of Florida tend to vote against candidates who support better ties with the Central American nation. Even Biden's 2020 Florida campaign strategy was to speak as little about Cuba as possible. The fear of Florida clearly holds back Biden in his Cuba policy. Yet, with liberalization and global support, Cuba is looking at a larger market to tap into, and there is every reason why the world must embrace Cuba now. The Central American nation is still a friend of Russia, but is no longer a threat to the world peace as it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Nor is there any evidence supporting the US claim that Cuba is a state sponsor of terrorism. The fact remains that Castro's, whose regime was the true enemy of the United States, are no longer in power. The US sanctions failed to bring down Castro's anyway, and now there is no sense in continuing the same sanctions against a seemingly liberal regime. Ice can be broken between Cuba and the US, yet a stubborn Biden has decided to go ahead with the same old US policy, which has again backfired badly. The world is happy with the rise of a new Cuba, but Biden and old Democrats are enraged because Cuba is no longer a pie that only US could eat. Now the world wants a share of the pie.